Welcome back, students. Today we're going to be getting into dictionaries and sets, part of our data structures portion of this course. Let's get into it. So, as always, we're going to hop right into the PowerPoint. All right, guys, dictionaries and sets, another part of our data structures portion of this presentation. Now, let's go deep dive into a dictionary and a set. So, today's video, we're going to be going over dictionaries, we're going to be going over sets, we're going to be going over how to use these data structures and alike. So as you guys can see, there's a meme here. So this is a set. It's showing that there's one value by itself, and a set is similar to a list in the sense that each value is just its own value. But a dictionary actually has a key value pair. So a dictionary, like a real life dictionary, has a key and also has a value. So if you look up the word hello in the dictionary, it'll give you a definition of the word hello. If you look up the word nice, it'll give up the definition of the word nice. So that's kind of how you can think about these things. And I heard a pretty good analogy, which I'll give you guys. So a dictionary is like a phone book. When you look up a person's name, the key to find their phone number and the value is their phone number. So that's the same way that Python holds keys and values. The key could be Matthew and the value could be my phone number. And a set is similar to like a list at a party. So imagine you invite a bunch of people to a party, and each person is a unique element in that specific set. So if you try to add a name that's already on the list, it won't make a difference. If you add Matthew in twice, it won't make a difference. The same thing in Python. When you have sets, you won't be able to add an extra element that's in the set. If you try to add Matthew in twice, the set won't change because it only has unique values in the actual data structure. All right, so hands-on like always, I'm using Windows today. I will be doing these exercises inside of Jupyter Notebook. Email me, Matthew, nguye2023@fau.edu. No N in the email, no mistake here. And let's go into it. So let's look at the basics of a dictionary. So the dictionary is gonna look something like this. Kind of how I was talking about, if you open up a real life dictionary, you have specific keys, which would be the words, and then you have the values, which would be the definitions. So this is what a dictionary looks like in Python. It's basically an unordered collection of items. And again, each item has its key value pair. I'm going to say that a lot today just so it can get engraved in your head. So you remember that that's what defines a dictionary in Python. In Python, the key can be any type of immutable data type like an integer, a string, or a tuple. The value can be anything, even another dictionary, a list, etc. The way that we declare dictionaries in Python is by using curly brackets, the same thing with a set, and a key and a value matching pair. So we're gonna have our key on one side of the colon and then the value on the other. Let's look at some code to kind of go over what this looks like in practice. Alrighty, so in this dictionary, we see we have key 1, we have value 1, we have key 2, we have value 2, we have key 3, and we have value 3. So if you look at another dictionary here, we have apple, and then we have the key, the value as being fruit. So we have apple as the key and we have the value being a fruit. We have beagle as the key, a dog breed as the value, red as the key, and a color as the value. So to access a specific key, you need in a dictionary, you can reference the dictionary. In this case, let's use key value. So if we're referencing that dictionary, which is stored inside of a variable, we can get access to the specific value by calling key value, which is in this case is the variable name, in brackets, putting in quotation marks the key. So key number 1 will return value number 1. Keys are immutable, but values are immutable. So once you declare the keys, you're unable to change them, but the values you always can change. All right, so let's look at the basics of a dictionary again. So dictionaries store data in key value pairs. I'm going to say it over and over again. If you have data where every item needs a specific attribute associated with it, a dictionary is a good choice. So a dictionary can be useful for things like a user profile. It could be useful for personal information. It could be useful for different departments and the people that are in each department and alike. Dictionaries use a concept called hashing that allows you to access the value directly by its key without having to search the dictionary. So we're actually able to access the actual key that we need when we get into things like for loops and while loops, where we can access the specific key that we need instead of having to iterate over and over the actual data structure. All right, so let's look at some dictionary methods. So dictionary, let's say that's the name of the dictionary that we have, and we have key. Once we call the key, we can set the key to a new value. We can set the key having a new value. So dictionary key, we can set it to a new value. So let's say if the key in the dictionary for this variable was value and we wanted to change it to new value, we can do that by calling the variable name, putting in brackets, the key name, and then equal sign to a new value. The dictionary, we can also add new keys. So if I want to add an extra key to the dictionary, we can just call again the variable name, put it in brackets, put quotation marks, and assign the new key a new value. So we can also use the get method in the dictionary. So the get method returns the value for the given key if the key is in the dictionary. If it is not, then it will return none. So that's how we can use the get method inside of Python. Next, we have the keys, the values, and the items method. So the same thing, we can have the variable name and just do dot keys, dot values, dot items. So the keys method will return a list of all the keys. The values method will return a list of all the values. And the items method will return a list of tuples with the key value pairs. Now, these aren't actual lists, but you can use something like the dot list function if you want to turn them into an actual list. All right, so as you guys can see, that is it for the dictionary methods. Let's hop into the workbook and let's take a look at some dictionaries. All right, guys, so now we're inside of our Jupyter notebook. Let's take a look at the different dictionaries that we have here and let's go over them. So in this case, it's the key value dictionary that we had earlier in the PowerPoint presentation, and then we have the things dictionary. So I'm going to actually comment this dictionary out. And let's just kind of look around at the dictionary. So we can do print here so we can get a look at what we're actually printing. So let's do key value, which is the name of our specific dictionary. And then in brackets, let's write key 1. Let's print this. We get value number 1. So pretty simple, pretty easy. Let's actually call, let's do the keys method so you guys can see how that looks. So let's do keys. Let's click run. Forgot to put the parentheses. So we see this here gives us all the keys. Now let's do values. This will get us all the values in the dictionary. And now let's do items. And you'll see it'll be a list of tuples for this specific dictionary. Awesome. Awesome. Now let's comment this one out and let's take a look at the things dictionary. So inside of the things dictionary, so let's change the value of Apple in this case to a software company because we know that there's the company Apple. So we'll just do things at the key that we need. And the key in this case is Apple. And we'll do equals a software company. And let's do print things at, my cursor's going crazy, at Apple. Let's close this out and let's fix this up a little bit. And let's click run. So as you guys can see, the new value that's attributed to this dictionary for Apple is a software company. So let's print things in this case and see what we get. Click run. Now we get the dictionary of things. As you can see, it's updated in this case, and that's it. All right, so let's take a look at another dictionary in this case. We have the person dictionary. So the same deal here. If we click run, we're going to get the dictionary here. And what we can do here is we can actually take a look at replacing the name of the person, kind of like how we did in the things dictionary. So let's click run. And now the name of that person will be John. Let's click run. We'll get John. I'll comment this one out. Let's take a look at the next line of code. So if we want to change, if we want to add a new key, if we want to add a new key to the person's dictionary, we can just call the new key value in this case, which would be job. So we're going to see job go right under city, and we want to have it as engineer. So let's print person now so we can see that being updated. Click run. So now we have the name, the age, the city, and now the job. Let's comment this one out. Next, if we want to delete a specific key from the dictionary itself, we can call the delete method. So del person at the key that we need. So let's print person now and see how that looks. Let's click run. So now we only have John's name and the city as New York. Okay, perfect. Now if we uncomment this job out and let's restart the kernel. Now if we run this, now we'll have the job there, but the person's age will be gone since we use the delete method in this case. All right, let's comment these out and let's go to the last line. So we can have an if statement here, and I know we haven't gotten into if statements inside of Python yet, but that will be the next module. But basically we're just saying if name is in person, so we're trying to see if the name of this person is in this dictionary by looking for the key name. So in this case, we're looking in the dictionary, looking for this key name. In this case, we'll click run, and we'll say the name is present in the dictionary. Let's say we're looking for height. Click run, and we won't get anything. But if we do the not in keyword, we'll run this again, then we'll get that printed out. So this will probably go as height is not present in the dictionary. So click run, and as easy as that. All right, guys, so that is going to be dictionaries for this lesson. Let's take a look at the set data structure inside of Python, and we'll get moving on into the PowerPoint presentation. All right, so let's take a look at the basics of sets within Python. A set is a built-in data type that represents an unordered collection of unique elements, and the key word there is unique. Sets are mutable, meaning that you can add and remove elements. However, you cannot add immutable elements to the set. And basically what it means that it's unchangeable. It means that you cannot change the actual values within the set, but you're able to remove values and you're able to add values. So if you want to change, let's say stores to store, you're going to get a type error inside of Python, but you can add store at the end of this set if you would like. All right, so let's look at the basics of a set. So in Python, a set is declared by using the curly brackets. Here we have a variable called mySet. In this case, if we print mySet, since there are duplicate values in here, it's going to automatically truncate that set into the only unique value. So in this case, we have 2 and 1 appearing again. And now we have our set with just 1, 2, and 3. So remember, sets are unordered. The elements in the set have no particular order in them. So you cannot index or slice inside of sets. Unique elements, so each element inside of a set is unique. Every time you declare a set with duplicate items, you will have a type error, and sets are mutable, which means you can add and remove elements with those specific methods inside of a set. So in this case, we have a couple set methods that we'll take a look at. We have the union method, which just returns all of elements from 2 sets. So we have 2 sets. You can think of a Venn diagram. We have a circle and another circle. It'll just be whatever's in the middle. An intersection returns a containing element present in both sets. Intersection returns a set containing elements present in both sets. So it's kind of like combining both sets together. Difference returns all the elements in the set that is in the first set, but not in the second set. And then symmetric difference returns a set containing elements that are in exactly one of the sets. So if it's in one of the sets, then it'll return it. But if it's not, then it won't. All right, guys, let's hop into the Jupyter Notebook and get on to sets. All right, let's take a look at sets now, guys. So here we have my set. So again, this is the one from the example of the PowerPoint. So let's just print this to see what happens. As you guys can see, there are 2 extra elements in this case that are duplicates. So it'll, by default print out only the unique values. Let's take the fruit set here. So if we press run, we can see that we have fruits. So let's actually make a copy of this. So let's do fruits dot copy. And let's name this more fruits as a variable. And let's print more fruits. And let's click run. And maybe let's add something to more fruits. So let's copy this. And let's do this. Let's do fruits, more fruits dot add. In this case, we'll add a pear. Now let's run this. Now we have the pear at the front. Now let's do another method in this case. Let's do more fruits dot clear. In this case, okay, let's run this. More fruits. Let's press play. So now we only have the set since we cleared the more fruit set. Let's take a look at this next line. So again, we want to add the orange. Pretty simple. It's going to add orange to the set. Click run. Now we have orange at the beginning of the set. In this case, this will actually be in the front. All right, and let's do fruits.remove. So if we want to remove banana from our fruits list or from our fruit set, then we can remove banana. In this case, we know that bananas was part of the set, so we were able to remove it. Now let's take a look at some other methods that are a little bit more complicated in a sense, but not too complicated. So first we have union. So in this case, what it's going to do is it's going to combine the two sets. So if you can imagine two Venn diagrams, we know that in this case, the only thing that's overlapping is the 3. So in this case, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, since sets are only allows you to have unique values. So let's press run. So now we have, since we were able to do that union on set 1 and set 2, we were able to combine both sets. Now, if we comment this out and look at the next method, we have intersection. So intersection is going to only take what we have in common with both sets. So let's click run. In this case, it's going to be number 3. So let's comment this one out. Let's do another method. Let's do this method, set dot is subset. In this case, we're going to be taking set 2. Change this to set 1, and it's going to return false. So let's run it. I had a little mistake there, misspelled subset. So in this case, we know that set 1 is not a subset of set 2, but if we add 1, 2 here, it's basically looking, is this set within this set? So let's click run. That's going to be true. Now if we change this to 2 and say set 2 a subset of set 1, then we're going to get false. We're going to get false. So we'll run that, we get false. Let's take a look at our last method inside the sets that we'll be going over today. So let's take a look at the pop method. And what pop is going to do is it's going to take off the first element in the set. So let's do print set1.pop. And let's run it. So now we got this as the element that was removed. So if we print set1, let's see what we get. We're going to get 2 and 3. So the pop method removes the first element of the set, and it changes the actual set to not include it anymore. Kind of like the remove method that we use up here. Instead, it pops the first element in the set, which in set 1 would be number 1. All right, guys, in this video, we went over sets and dictionaries, 2 very important data structures within Python. Now we're going to be getting into module 3, where we'll be going over if statements, while loops, for loops, and list comprehensions. We're building on the fundamentals of Python, and this is when things are going to start to get fun. Once we get into functions, now you'll have everything you need to be a Python connoisseur, and your learning can always grow from any point on. Now you guys are empowered with the tools of the data structures and data types within Python. Let's continue building about and writing Python and utilize other tools and other specific components of this beautiful language so that we're able to achieve our goals in business analytics and so forth.